first hint of the coming day begins to manifest itself, the island princess cautiously enters the harbor at San Juan, Puerto Rico, a city that was founded by the Spanish in 1521. This ship has been a comfortable, luxurious, relaxing home as it has plied the tropical waters of the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea during the 15 days since leaving Los Angeles. As we leave San Juan Harbor for Puerto Rico's countryside, we notice that this city has a distinct metropolitan feel. It is the capital of the island, one of the oldest cities in the Western Hemisphere, and now home for 550,000 people. Incidentally, Puerto Rico Island itself boasts a total of 3.5 million inhabitants on its 3,500 square mile area. The administration building is a visual symbol of the 42,000 student University of Puerto Rico, which for the most part is hidden in a residential setting of native trees and shrubberies. The university offers degrees in all the major disciplines in the academic world. High-rise classroom buildings are separated from each other by large vegetation-dominated campus areas, giving the facility a park-like appearance. On this Sunday morning hour, the university is virtually abandoned. The Campanile's chimes mark the hours of the day. Luquillo is one of the many fine beaches that ring Puerto Rico Island. Fine golden sand and gentle underwater slopes encourage active participation by the more energetic bathers. Unfortunately, it is still too early in the morning for the sun worshippers to be stirring. Yunque Rain Forest surrounds 3,500-foot high El Yunque Mountain Peak, highest point in the Luquillo mountain range. Here, prevailing tropical moisture-laden sea breezes each year drop over 200 inches of rain on the slopes below. We stop momentarily to view a lacy waterfall that is almost hidden by dense vegetation. From the top of the 85-foot-high observation tower, we view the hardwood forested mountain slopes that extend down to the Atlantic Ocean in the distance. is time now to start back towards San Juan. A roadside shopping center is filled with useless items to tempt carefree tourists desiring visual proof that they have vacationed in an exotic land. Back in San Juan, we note that the city has a curious mixture of ancient and ultra-modern buildings. San Jose Catholic Church is one of the many ecclesiastical buildings in this predominantly Catholic society. San Juan Catholic Cathedral is no architectural gem, in my opinion, but the natives love it. The servants' quarters and the carriage house is attached directly to the governor's palace. The Governor's Palace is a focal point at the end of Fortaleza Street. We stop briefly in a combination specialty store and restaurant. San Juan has many modern high-rise tourist hotels. Attractive beaches abound in this tourist-oriented city. Quiet lagoons caressed by gentle breezes attract the younger set to the sport of windsurfing. This gaily decorated building displays an abstract design that leaves much to the imagination. Double-wing Caribe Hilton Hotel is to be our home while we are in San Juan. It exhibits a patriotic message at its main entrance. Flags also adorn the rear of the building, where the Atlantic Ocean laps against an excellent sandy beach. The beach is crowded this afternoon with many bathers and sun worshippers who have converged from all parts of the city. Of the millions of rock crabs scurrying among the stone breakers near the beach, only one decided to audition for this documentary. The hotel maintains an excellent private garden for its guests, complete with beautiful trees, shrubberies, pools, and lawns. The hotel is foster home for a careful selection of birds. Birds are allowed to wander at will in and out of the hotel corridors and enclosed planting areas. However, only the peacocks have the temerity to explore and satisfy their curiosity about the environs of these strange creatures who call themselves human beings. Even a small lizard has marked out a home site. Our guest room overlooks San Geronimo, one of the last of many fortresses constructed during colonization by the Spanish. These bastions remain as manifestations of Spain's determination to protect its primary claim to the island of Puerto Rico in the New World. Plundering pirates, as well as armed challenges by the French, the Dutch, and the British governments seeking footholds in the Western Hemisphere, kept the Spanish on the defensive throughout almost 400 years. However, final control of the island by the Spanish evaporated in 1898 when the city fell to the United States Armed Forces during the Spanish-American War. The original 16th century city wall once completely encircled the area now known as Old San Juan. El Morro Castle is a masterpiece of Spanish military architecture. Its cannons bristled on all sides of the fort for protection during attacks that often came from both land and sea. The castle maintains its original 18th century appearance. The little chapel still retains the charm that inspired Christian believers of 3 centuries ago. The fort is located on a point of land jutting out into San Juan Bay, giving it control over any Atlantic Ocean approaches throughout a 270-degree arc. The 140-foot-high bluff on which the fort was built afforded the Spanish effective protection from the guns of attacking ships, while still enabling the defenders to bombard the aggressors unmercifully. Today, there are no unfriendly ships on the horizon approaching El Morro Castle. Coincidentally, there are no menacing soldiers on land converging on the fort. Instead, in the distance, beyond the nondescript power plant, we are told there is a distillery dedicated to the brewing of excellent Bacardi rum to soothe parched palates of thirsty tourists who have been in the tropical sun too long. We have enjoyed our trip to Puerto Rico and have learned to love the people who have made our visit so pleasant. We hope to return in the near future to this 100-mile-long by 35-mile-wide tropical paradise, which separates the restless Atlantic Ocean from the less boisterous Caribbean Sea.